Once upon a time, in a dense and untouched forest, there lived a tiger. Majestic, strong, and fearless, he roamed the wild with unmatched ferocity. His presence alone was enough to send shivers down the spine of every living being in the forest. The very thought of his powerful paws sent tremors through the hearts of his prey. He was untamed, unchallenged, and for years his name echoed through the trees. The rustle of leaves seemed to whisper his name, and the trembling steps of animals told tales of his prowess. Nothing stood in his way. There were no boundaries to his power. But one day something unusual happened, something that made this fierce predator pause and question his existence. The sun had barely peeked over the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and gold when the tiger awoke from his slumber. As the first rays of sunlight filtered through the thick canopy above, he yawned, revealing the glint of his sharp teeth. Today was like any other day. The air was filled with the sweet melody of birds, the gentle rustling of leaves, and the distant gurgling of a nearby stream. The tiger stretched, feeling the powerful muscles in his body awaken, ready to start his day of hunting and claiming his rightful dominance over the forest. He padded silently through the undergrowth, his striped coat blending seamlessly with the dappled shadows on the forest floor. His keen eyes scanned the surroundings, always on the lookout for signs of prey. The tiger was driven by instinct, by the primal urge to hunt, to capture, and to consume. This was his way of life, was ingrained in him, part of his very essence. As he walked, the tiger noticed a fallen log ahead, a silent sentinel resting on the forest floor. Perched atop the log was a small bird, its bright feathers shimmering in the soft morning light. The bird was small, no bigger than the tiger's paw, yet it exuded an air of tranquility that was hard to ignore. It wasn't singing, wasn't trying to attract attention, but it wasn't cowering in fear either. It was still calm and unfazed by the tiger's presence. The tiger paused, his instincts telling him to pounce, to end the little bird's life in a flash of his powerful jaws. Yet something held him back. Perhaps it was the bird's unwavering stillness or the strange sense of calm that seemed to emanate from it. Whatever the reason, the tiger didn't attack. He just stood there staring at the bird. Time seemed to stand still in that moment. The chirping of crickets, the buzzing of insects, and the distant calls of other birds faded into a distant hum. All that existed was the tiger and the bird, locked in a silent standoff, amidst the tranquility of the forest. The tiger's eyes narrowed, his gaze intense, trying to decipher the bird's unmoving form. Was it feigning death, playing a trick on its predator? Or was there something else at play? He took a step forward, then another, his massive body tensing with anticipation. His muscles coiled like springs ready to unleash their power. But as he closed the distance between them, the tiger felt a strange sensation wash over him. It wasn't fear, nor was it excitement. It was something he couldn't quite comprehend, something that seemed to echo the bird's own stillness. Suddenly, the bird lifted its head, its eyes glistening like beads of obsidian. It stared back at the tiger, its gaze steady and unwavering. In that instant, something within the tiger shifted. The urge to hunt, to kill, to dominate, all of it seemed to evaporate, leaving him confused and disoriented. The tiger took a hesitant step back, his instincts screaming at him to seize the opportunity he had in front of him. Yet he couldn't bring himself to do it. Instead, he found himself taking longer strides backwards, maintaining his focus on the bird. And so the most feared predator in the forest backed away, not in submission, but in a display of a curious respect. The standoff continued for what felt like hours, though in reality it may have been mere minutes. Then, much to the surprise of anyone who witnessed it, the tiger turned and walked away. He didn't prowl or hunt that day. Instead, he followed the bird's trail, keeping a respectful distance, but never letting it out of his sight. The locals who lived near the edges of this long-forgotten forest watched with a mixture of wonder and disbelief. They had heard stories about this tiger, of the terror he inflicted on their livestock, and the chilling roar that echoed through the night. To see him now, acting so strangely, was beyond comprehension. He didn't go after the deer that crossed his path, didn't chase the rabbits that darted across the forest floor. He just kept following the bird, never attacking, never roaring, just observing. As days turned into weeks, the villagers began to whisper. What had happened to the tiger? Had he gone mad? Is this some sort of bizarre mating ritual? Their theories ranged from the practical to the fantastical, but no one truly understood what was happening. But those who knew the forest well, those who had learned to read its signs and understand its ways, they sensed something different was at play here. The bird was no ordinary creature. It was a guide, a teacher, a messenger from the heart of the forest itself. Some spoke of ancient tribal stories, legends passed down through generations, stories of forest spirits that took the form of birds to interact with the creatures of the forest. These spirits were said to possess immense wisdom and power, and it was believed they could appear to guide or help those who were lost, broken, or in need of guidance. Could this be the reason for the tiger's unusual behavior? Had the tiger done something in his past that required reflection? Something that demanded he look beyond his primal instincts? Or was he simply drawn to the bird because of its unwavering stillness, because it represented something he had never encountered before in his life? There was also the belief that the bird wasn't just a spirit, but a soul that the tiger had once harmed in his relentless pursuit of his prey. Now karma had returned, and the tiger was paying the price for his past actions. The villagers marveled at the sight of the tiger following the bird. They saw a creature of pure instinct, driven by its primal urges, now displaying an unexpected level of discipline and restraint. It was as if they were witnessing a transformation, a shedding of old habits and behaviors in favor of something new and unknown. Some found solace in the idea that perhaps the tiger was paying for his sins, that balance was being restored to the natural order. Others, however, couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The tiger's change in behavior was unsettling, a disruption of the natural order that had always kept them safe. After 31 days of following the bird, the tiger came upon a tall tree near the river. The bird flew to the topmost branch, gave a final cry that echoed through the forest, and then vanished into the misty expanse above. The tiger never hunted again. Instead, he spent his days near that river, watching the sun rise and set as if waiting for something. The villagers named him the guardian beast. This is a story that has been passed down for many generations, a tale of a mighty tiger whose heart changed after seeing a small bird. Some say the tiger stopped hunting because of a memory, a soul he once harmed in his ferocious youth. Others whispered that it was a message from the forest, a sign that even the fiercest heart can change. It's a story that makes us ponder the depths of nature, the mysteries of the animal kingdom, and the transformative power of stillness in a world that never ceases to amaze. If this story touched your heart and made you think deeply, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, The Forgotten Path, where we explore the profound connections between nature, spirituality, and the human experience. Your support means the world to me. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery and enlightenment. May the spirit of the tiger's transformation guide you in your own path towards wisdom and understanding.